And there we go. Welcome to Tomato Talk, top of mind, advancing through obstacles. May change the name of this one around here a little bit. Maybe we make it advancing through opportunities. Then, how do we see those opportunities? What do we do about actually taking advantage of those opportunities? You know what? And that's where this confidence level comes from. Do you have the confidence to take on any opportunity? Any that's a big word, isn't it? Any opportunity? Hey, look, I've been invited to do different things that there's just no way I should be doing it, right? Hey, how would you like to fly a plane? I don't know about that. Although I did once, and it was in the co-pilot seat. It was a small plane and stuff like that. But boy, oh boy, you know, that was a little bit of an exciting thing. But I had the confidence to do it, but there's no way it was going up on myself or anything like that. That's crazy. That's crazy. There are certain things that you get the opportunity to do, but maybe just should really think about that as to whether or not it's appropriate or not. But no matter what, whether it's an appropriate thing to do or not an appropriate thing to do, if you don't have the confidence to go out there and actually do it, have the confidence to think about doing something, then how many opportunities become obstacles? How many opportunities just go by the wayside because, oh man, I can't do that. And you just forget it, man. Just walk away. You can't do that. You can't do that. Because if you do that, you can miss out on too many things, way too many things. So, where does confidence come from? Is it something that's inside of you? Is it something that's created? Is it something that you could build upon? And now my answer to that is I think it is within all of us. Some level of confidence, is there. And I don't think that we give ourselves enough credit to actually take on different challenges, different programs, different kinds of projects that perhaps, just perhaps, you'd be really good at doing if given the opportunity to do it and given some sort of structure to do it and giving yourself a game plan to actually make that happen. All right, let's get into some specific over here instead of just kind of talking in general terms. So, where does confidence come from? All right, we could talk about communication confidence. Why not? Since that's going to be one of our pillars over here as to what strategies of success is. But there's just so many other factors that go into it too. So, let's talk about communication. Where do you get your confidence from? If you were given the opportunity to lead a project or to stand up in front of a group, well, first things first, as with so many other things, it's like, let's just kind of take a look at the commonalities of this one, right? So if you want to lose weight, what's the first thing you do? First thing that you should do, besides get rid of all that extra ice cream and cake in the refrigerator. But what's the first thing you should do? Take inventory. That's right. Take inventory of what it is that you're doing. You can look back on different things. That really won't matter altogether too much because whatever that prior lifestyle was, that's not going to be it. But what you want to do right now is take inventory, current inventory of not what is bad, but what is good. What are you doing? You really, really need to understand what it is that you are doing. All right. So here's what you do. If you want to lose weight, track, pay attention to what you're eating, and then better that food that you're taking in. Find different substitutes. It's not much more difficult than that. And then the other side of it that everybody will tell you to do is to get out. Get outside. Don't just sit in the chair all day long. Stand up. Tammy Racanelli did the greatest. It's like she's made it so simple to get more exercise. Is when you sit down in your chair, don't sit down once, sit down three times. Sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up. You've just done a couple of minute or two worth of exercise, but do that all day long, you're doing something there. All right. And you can do that any place. But move a little bit. In other words, practice a little bit. Practice moving. Get out there and do something. whether it's sitting down, standing up in your chair, whether it's going outside for a walk, whether it's parking your car on the other side of the parking lot, walking a little bit more, taking the stairs instead of taking an elevator to get to your office. Find some way to move a little bit more. Now, what does that have to do with confidence as a communicator? Same thing. Same thing. So what you want to do is you want to pay attention to what you're doing. Oh, I don't want to stand in front of a group of people and speak. It's like I can't do that. Really? Really? When was the last time you sat down at the dinner table with your family and you spit out the idea? You led the conversation. That's public speaking. When was the last time you had a customer that came to you that was not exactly happy with things and you had that conversation with them? What'd you do? You had a one on one conversation and you spoke. That is communication skills. You were able to practice listening and you were able to sway that person's opinion. And you want to know something? If that person was right and you were in the wrong, or they were just right, whatever that situation was, and you handled it properly, that's communication skills. Is that standing up in front of a group of people? No, it's not. It's something. It's something. And that, my friends, should really give you confidence as a communicator. You can do that. All these little things add up, just like from a weight loss standpoint. All those little handful of jelly beans and cupcakes and ice cream and the rest of that stuff. It all adds up. Definitely does. You find out at the end of the day, you've eaten 3,000 calories. Not that good, right? Especially if they're junky calories. But at the end of the day, if you've tracked and you found that you've had 6 glasses of water, you had an apple, an orange, a nectarine, a peach, got all those stone fruits are in, hey, you know something? That's really good. And then you parked your car in the upper center of the parking lot. You wrote that down. Hey, that's really good. So that should give you some confidence in the fact that you are eating better, especially if you compare it to what you did last week and last month and follow your progress. As a communicator, same thing, follow your progress. What's going to happen is that small one-on-one conversations, maybe that's a small group conversation you're having, all of a sudden, next time you're at a networking event, you got your 5 or 10 minutes to give a presentation. Or maybe you decide to sponsor one of David Gustin's events and you got your 5 minute highlight that you get a chance to sit up there and talk. You know what? Those are great accomplishments. And all those little things add up. Keep track of them. And here's the best part about doing one of the David events is that David's going to introduce you. Now, if David knows you, he's going to highlight all those good things about you. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to listen. That's right. You're going to sit there. You're not going to worry about what you're going to say. You're going to sit and you're going to listen. Because David's going to tell you all those things that you've accomplished. And you're like, really? I didn't know that. I didn't think of that. Maybe you knew about it. You didn't think about that. All right. So here's what I'm going to suggest that you do on this one is that confidence builder. One, track those little conversations that you have. Every time you have a conversation with somebody that was a meaningful conversation, jot that down. Hey, spoke to. We should keep a log, a time log of the conversations you have with clients and prospects, whatever, throughout the day. So add a little extra little column in there on your CRM section about what you spoke about. It's like, hey, that was a good conversation. Or if you're at a networking event and you're chatting with people, it's like, hi, my name is Brian. I work with people that are looking to use their voice to build their brand. And it connects and you have a conversation with somebody. Write down that one, or you're definitely going to write down the fact that you want to reach out to that person if they had an interest in what you're doing. But you also want to jot down some of those key words that really did it. And you're going to build up those keywords. And you're going to come to realize that maybe you were connecting with 1 out of 10 people at an event. Now you're connecting with 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10. You're finding out that you're a little bit more confident in your communication skills because you actually know what you want to say, which adds to your confidence level. And then once you know that, You're going to speak more. You're going to connect more. You're going to gain more confidence as to what you're doing. And that's how it works. That's a small, easy way of making it work. Can you reach out to different people in different groups to do it? Without a doubt. And there are different organizations that you could look into that'll help you become a much more confident communicator. It's real easy to do. You just got to pick up that phone or send a text, Google, and let them know that you have an interest in doing that. But build that base first. Before you go. Build that base a little bit over there. This way, when you do get there, you're able to tell them what it is that you're looking to do and looking to accomplish. I know when I joined Toastmasters, it wasn't so much as the fact that I was not confident as a communicator. I was confident I wasn't effective. And that was what I was looking for. Could have gone to a couple of different places. I looked at the NSA, the National Speakers Association. They're a little bit more focused on the business of communication rather than the communication skills. There's some exceptions with some of the programs that they do, but for the most part, that was where that was at. Dale Carnegie was another place to go that would have been a very intense training, week, 2 week program, things like that. Toastmasters was the other place that I went to. It was more ongoing. Different benefits with all three, without a doubt. Would each one of them have added to my confidence level as a communicator? Without a doubt. Definitely would. The structure, if I know the structure of my business and what I'm trying to accomplish with the NSA, that would have added to it. I don't know which way I'm going to go and things like that. I think that group would have helped me map out a strategy. So that would be like, okay, now I have a strategy, I have a plan, a project, I have a direction that I'm going in. That's good. Dale Carnegie, boom, would have been there. You'd had an instructor in front of the room, you had a group of people, everybody would have gotten to know each other. You would have been able to do and practice and learn from somebody from a structured organization. Hey, that would have been a big help too. Toastmasters was more of that ongoing, go at your own pace kind of thing. The folks that you're going to go and learn from was much more informal than the Dale Carnegie. Much more informal because what we're doing is we're learning from each other inside that. So it really depends upon the group and the group of people that are there. Look, if the group of people in that club are all professional speakers, you're going to get different comments, different feedback, and you'll probably move along a little bit quicker than if you were in a Toastmaster group was made up of people in the same category as you. You want to become more confident communicator, all good, but nobody really has a lot of experience in that realm. So now you're just all kind of moving along together. It's ongoing, which I think is good, but you don't have the professional level in front of you. And this all depends upon the kind of club. A friend of mine that joined the club right now that is made up of professional or would-be professional speakers. That's a whole different club than some of the other clubs. There was a club that met on one of the college campuses. It was primarily made up of students, graduate students, but students. So they don't have all that whole life experience thing to fall back on and getting comments from. The point is that there's a wide variety of different ways of gaining confidence, whether it be professional, Dale Carnegie, whether it be our structured map out a plan, NSA, or whether it be ongoing inside of Toastmasters. And then beyond that, you could take a look at hiring an individual coach to help out with that. Beyond that, which was my favorite, take an improv comedy class. And there's a difference between taking a class to do stand-up comedy or doing a class to do improv comedy. But all these things can help out in a myriad of different ways. Look, if you want to give a speech and you're really looking to structure a humorous speech, all right, if you're taking a comedy class and you're going to get on stage as a comedian and you're going to do an 8 minute routine or 10 minute routine, whatever, but an 8 minute routine, that's comedy. All right, you want to go for the laughs. It's all about the laughs. Every 20 seconds, I think it is. You want to get a laugh, got to get a laugh, got to get the momentum going, got to get a laugh. So if you want to be a professional speaker, can you take a class on doing stand-up comedy? Absolutely, because I think with that, you'll learn from that. If you apply what you're learning as a comic by doing stand-up and you apply that to your speech, you're not going to go for a laugh every 20 seconds if you're giving a more serious speech, you're becoming a professional speaker. But you're going to learn where and when you could add a joke or you could make fun of a situation and how to do that. I'm a little bit tricky now, but how to do that without being offensive. All right. And that's what I think stand-up comedy would allow you to do. You do an 8-minute routine someplace in a friendly nightclub. Not talking about doing it at a bar at 2 o'clock in the morning. That could be a raucous crowd. But if you do it, Rich Walker and a couple of others, they do you can learn to take a class. Learn how to do stand-up comedy. You're doing it at Governor's Comedy Club or one of those kind of places. It's a lot of friends. You do it with classmates, so it's a friendly crowd. Everybody wants to see everybody succeed. You're not going to get heckled, so you're away from that. But you will learn. You're definitely going to learn a few things by doing that. You're going to learn about stage presence. You're going to learn about the audience, how to read the audience. You're also going to learn how to become effective on stage. And when you apply those things you've learned there to your speaking in a group setting, or if you want to become a professional speaker, or if you just want to be really super good when you do your 5 or 10 minutes, or if you sponsor an event, or if you're on at an event someplace where you are the keynote speaker or even one of the supporting speakers, you get your 20 minutes, 30 minutes. You'll get it. You'll be great at doing that. So that's what doing stand-up comedy can add to the whole thing. Because there's nothing like it's not so much as telling a joke, but there's nothing better than finding the humor in a situation. There's always humor in any situation. You can ask Steve Rizzo about that, right? Definitely ask him about that. But there's always humor in every situation, regardless of what it is. And if you could take that situation and add humor into it, you get your audience laughing or at least smiling. Man, that's golden. You do that once, your confidence levels go way up. It's going to be a great thing. Great thing. All right, here's the other one. What about improv comedy? But improv, it's these weird situations that you're going to be doing. But like, really, what's the benefit of doing improv comedy or taking an improv comedy class if I'm going to give a speech? If I'm going to give a speech that I've got written and rewritten, and I've got it known, and I got my opening good, and I got my close good, and I got the body of it all together. I need to do improv? Do you need to do improv? Do you need to do all of these different things? We're not talking about need here. We're talking about gaining confidence. So how in the world will taking an improv comedy class help your confidence level? It's pretty easy, my friends. It's because things happen. Things always, always, always happen. Gentleman was giving a speech. Somebody leaned against the wall, turned the lights off, flicked them back on again. You know what that is? That's an awkward situation that breaks the momentum of everything. How in the world does the speaker get that back? Oh, you could prepare for that. You can't prepare for that because you don't know. You don't know if the lights are going to flicker on and off. You don't know if your PowerPoint's going to break down in the middle of a presentation. You don't know if a helicopter is going to land outside the building. Believe it or not, that happened one time. Helicopter lands outside the building. You hear all this noise. You don't think that stuff is a distraction to your audience and you? You don't think that those things, when that happens, takes the audience's attention away from you, the speaker? Oh, it certainly does. Even on a more normal situation, you get an audience of 50 people, 100 people, and you got a group in the back over there just continues to talk, and people start to notice. This is friendly audience I'm talking here, right? People start to notice. What do you do? What do you do? Can you actually prepare for every one of these situations? Well, I think if you're a professional comic, you're ready to go. You're ready to go because you know how to deal with hecklers, because you've practiced it, you know it, you know what you're going to do in every situation because you've run across these situations in the past. And boom, man, if you're really good at that, if you're a comic and you're doing the bars at 2 o'clock in the morning when everybody's drunk, you get a kind of a raucous crowd in there. And you know something, that's a special situation. I give those folks a whole lot of credit to be able to deal with that. I'm just talking normal audience, normal situations. And yeah, at outside noise, normal situation. Maybe you aren't going to get a helicopter every time, but something will happen. Something will happen when you're giving a presentation at some point in time when your audience is all of a sudden directed at that. They're out there someplace, and you need to bring them back to you. That's where improv comedy comes from. You take an improv comedy class, here's what happens. You're going to do this with a number of people, 8, 10 people, whatever is in the class, and then maybe 2, 3, 4 of you are going to be doing a skit, be a weird situation, that kind of thing, and then you're all talking about whatever this crazy scenario is, and you're doing that. But here's what you're learning. Here's what you're learning. You're learning how to think and speak at the same time. Ah, what a beautiful thing. Do that inside of Toastmasters too. Just not as quick of a pace as you would in improv comedy. So Toastmasters, we do table topics, is what it's called. So if I'm the person in front of the room and I am the table topics master, so be it, that is the name. But if I'm the table topic, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the room and I'm going to ask everybody a question. It's an unprepared question. They're not going to know what the question is. Everybody gets a different question. And then their goal is to then present for 1 to 2 minutes a response to that question. That's improv. That's not it's not a funny thing, but that's improv. So they're being asked to think about a response quickly. Now, I could do that a couple of different ways. I could go around the room. Mary, here's your question. Mary then has a moment or two to think about a response and she responds to it. All right. Or I could ask the question, let it sit, ask for volunteers. Again, thinking and speaking, not quickly, but everybody's kind of formulating some sort of an answer in their head just in case they get picked, just in case they get chosen. In improv comedy, if you're going to take an improv comedy class, you're there. All of a sudden, 4 of you are participating in one of these exercises like a car. The 4 of you get in the car, right? And then what'll happen is that people will switch on and off because some another passenger will get in, the driver will get out, somebody in the back seat will get in and out. And the thing is, you don't know when that's going to happen. The person who's leading the exercise will then automatically switch people around. That's one thing. And then the storyline, you don't know where the storyline's going to go because one person's going to start talking and then somebody else is just going to respond and take it in another direction. And they may just stop. Who knows when they're going to stop talking? Maybe they'll go for 10 seconds. Maybe they'll go for 30 seconds. Maybe they'll just say a word or two. And then boom, it's your turn. You can't spend too much time thinking. You just go with it. You go with it. And you just go with it. You don't disagree with the situation. You just go with it. And it becomes a really a fast flowing situation. Where it winds up, who knows? Doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. But here's what you're learning out of something like that: how to think and speak at the same time. All right. And that, my friends, is what's going to help you to increase your level of confidence as a speaker because you don't know what the situations are going to be. And you don't have to be funny. You don't have to crack a joke when those lights go out in the room. All you really need to do is to be able to bring the audience back to you, not panic. And they go, oh my, the lights went out. That's not bringing the audience back, is it? No, it's not. You say something, but that was exciting. Now I got your attention. Okay, is it a brilliant comeback? No, but all of a sudden, you're now the next person speaking. You're saying something that will get their attention. How do you come up with that quickly? It's practice. It's knowing. It's knowing. So all these things, and this is the why. It's so important to track these things that you do and keep note of these things that you do. Because all of these things build on itself, just like every cupcake builds on itself a little bit, a little bit on your way. Every one of these different experiences builds upon your ability to become a much more confident communicator in any kind of a situation. So keep note of those things that you've done. And let David go sponsor an event. Let David introduce you. Or do an event someplace else where they can say, hey, can you send me your bio? And then direct your bio out and make it work that way. And here's the point. Here's the point. You become a confident communicator, you're going to be much more clearer in everything that you do. And that really becomes important. And that also becomes your brand, which also leads us into the video I'd like to play here before we go. This is from my partner, my business partner, Arthur Germain, in brand telling. So if I may at this point in time, Arthur, why don't you share your thoughts with us?
I'm Arthur Germain, Principal and Chief Brand Teller at Brand Telling, a brand storytelling agency and solution resource to CAS worldwide members and their clients. At Brand Telling, we establish, strengthen, and promote startup and grow-up brands. What does that look like? For startups, we build and launch brand stories that are based on company values and customer benefits. For grow-ups, those established businesses looking to take their next big step, we refresh their brand stories to better reflect changes in the business. In both cases, we use storytelling to connect brands with customers for stronger relationships and greater sales. And we always begin with an open book session to develop a brand blueprint. You want to learn more or connect us to a business client or a networking contact? Please click or share the link below to download a copy of our guide for building a brand that sounds different and stands out from the crowd. Thank you.
And how do you do that? It's about knowing. It's about knowing. And every one of these times that you do these presentations, every time you do one of these presentations, you wind up learning a little something from that. And that includes includes doing these videos. You learn a little something. Obviously, got to close that channel when I'm done, or just download the video. But every time you do these things, anytime you speak, anytime you're out there, you're at an event, doing an elevator pitch, being introduced, doing a 5, 10, 20-minute, 30-minute presentation someplace, somebody introduces you, all of these things, you take any of these classes, you do all of these things, you're going to speak more frequently. That's going to help you become a more confident communicator. And inside of Toastmasters, if you're giving those speeches a lot of different kinds of topics, you're going to gravitate to something that really means something to you. So you're going to hone in. You're going to hone in on your skills. You're going to hone in on your values. You're going to hone in on what's exciting to you. That's important. Same thing holds true if you're delivering it. Every time you're at a networking event, you keep on delivering that elevator pitch. You keep on talking to different people. You find out what resonates. It's going to help you increase your confidence as a communicator. And it's going to help you develop a plan. And that's important. If you need any help on developing a plan as to how to go about doing this, how to gain confidence, where is the best place to go? Is it better to go to a Dale Carnegie? Is it better to go to NSA? Is it better to go to Toastmasters? Does it make sense to take an improv comedy class? Does it make sense for you to do a stand-up comedy routine? Do a TED Talk. All these things make sense in different situations. I'd be more than happy to guide you as you continue on your path to become a more confident communicator, and that can continue to use your voice to grow your business and to build your brand. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. And remember, speak well, speak often, live inspired.